yɛbɛma mo akɔ aba na afei mo agye messer sɛ obɛgye brɛ na afei update ahorow a yɛn nsa aka no yɛde bɛma mo. So yɛhyɛ aseɛ na yɛkɔ straight into the camp of the US President, United States of America, Donald Trump. Some radio near ababeton mountain so ɛkyerɛ sɛ woyɛ immigrant ɛwɔ USA na wonni green card you should start heading towards your home or country crowd free buy start going towards that country to go and apply for green card or try not to say if you are from Ghana, you are from Nigeria, you are from any part of the world away from the United States of America. As of now, you have to start heading towards home. Ukofia nafi wako apply for green card on saka na ya from now abaso on your screen. So I say Trump administration now requiring green card seekers to leave to US to apply and to say green card you have to start heading towards home to apply for green card. And this has raised a lot of controversies online. It's more or less like people are beginning to look at it from a different direction. Is it that Trump per se now applying as a not just what's now, baby. It's more or less like elimination by rough taxes. Trump try say Obabe. It has raised a lot of controversies. People who are Ghanaians, people who are Nigerians, different countries who have found themselves in the United States of America. Some radio, Omotwaye Shiana said they are beginning to, be placed on a hot seat because you have to come back to your home country. Now, what Shasia said, apply, we and sana embassy are fraud. Then you come back to the country. Some of these kind of things, somewhere around the 1980s, we saw say it wasn't like this. I mean, so US and now person apply for green card. You are there, for interview, who qualify for interview na afe onsa card. It wasn't like this previously. So why does Trump want to do it this way? This has created a whole lot of conversations around this whole issue. So Trump is more or less like a new policy. Trump you have to go back to your country. When you go there, you apply for green card. The country USA. So this has brought a report from CBS. A citizen spouse, a student, tourist, USA, visa holder. I mean, idea when they on your screens or say Trump administration suspends green card process, potentially compelling hundreds of thousands to leave US to apply for it. So that is what is coming from the US President Donald Trump. Say green card. The simple way to get it is to go back to your country. When you go back to your country, then you apply for it. This wasn't how it was initially, but there's a new policy, Donald Trump. So on your screen, so say the Trump administration will now require people seeking green card to leave the United States during the application process. A sweeping change that could upend the lives of hundreds of thousands of people seeking the right to legally and permanently live and work in the USA. So coming from the President of the United States, so pay green card, you should go to your country, then apply for it. So there's a video to this effect at CBS.
The administration is making it much harder for immigrants already here in the U.S. to get a green card, expanding its campaign to sharply limit legal immigration. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced it will be eliminating the option for many immigrants seeking a green card. Immigrants will be required to return to their home countries in order to apply for a green card or permanent U.S. residency through an American consulate overseas. Current and former U.S. immigration officials tell CBS News the policy will likely have wide-ranging implications, forcing groups like students, tourists, and other temporary visa holders, as well as people who enter the country legally but overstay their visas, to leave the U.S. before trying to obtain a green card. And that would include immigrants who are being sponsored by American employers and companies, or U.S. citizen relatives, including their spouses. For many, going back home could make it difficult or even impossible for them to return to the U.S., given the travel and visa restrictions the Trump administration has imposed on dozens of countries.
So that is the video to that effect. Our actress some radio said, "Oh, what the United States of Ghana? Na oh yeah, a spouse of a citizen, oh yeah, student, oh yeah, tourist, oh yeah, visa holder. Na oh yeah, a citizen of the United States of America. Yeah, you have to head back to your country to apply for green card. Afe so unya via na afe. You go through the process and then you are called to be part or to be officially be able to go to the country. So that is what is coming from the President of the United States of America. So whether you are a student, you are a tourist, you are a citizen, spouse, and all that, you have to go through this new policy. It's a new system that is coming from the United States of America. You go back to your country, wherever you're coming from, then you apply, then you are called for interview. After the interview, then you are legitimately able to stay at the United States of America. There is a post to this effect. Said the Trump administration will now require people seeking green cards to leave the United States during the application process. A sweeping change that could upend the lives of hundreds of thousands of people seeking the right to legally and permanently live and work in USA. So it means that all person will live in USA. If you want to work in USA, the visa application process, now you go back to your country, then you apply and then go through the process. In a new rule announced Friday, US immigration authorities said green card applicants would have to return to their home countries to apply for permanent visas. So when they acquire to say hits for people who are immigrants in the United States of America. If you want green card, come back to your country, then you apply, then you go through the process. And sana ya file. I said the abrupt policy change stands to affect a large swath of legal U.S. immigration population, compelling those seeking legal permanent residency to leave the country, separating families, forcing people to leave their jobs, and disrupting communities in the process. Applying for a green card is a notoriously arduous process that can take several months to years to complete. So this part of it, to apply for the green card, it would take a while. So is it that Donald Trump is trying to eliminate immigrants by rough taxes? On to me, Pamo say call country, and as we Ghana, and as Nigeria, go back to your country. But this is more or less like a strategy to move people who are immigrants away from the USA. Or say U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services said the rule provides exemptions for extraordinary circumstances. Zakela, a spokesperson for the agency, said in a statement, when aliens apply from their home country, it reduces the need to find and move those who decide to slip into the shadows and remain in the U.S. illegally after being denied residency. Keller said, first say, who apply na say some people find ways of, moving into the country, still staying in the country, or won't call back to some home country. So they are looking at this as a way of, making immigrants do the right thing. Or apply na say, green card, you can't come. I see about 1.4 million people obtained lawful permanent residence in fiscal year in 2024, according to Public Department of Homeland Security data. Almost somewhere in 2024, this card not lawfully, they had the right to stay in the USA. 1.4 million. The new rule is likely to face legal challenges since being announced Friday. It has already faced a torrent of criticism from attorneys, lawmakers, and immigration advocates. So this has more or less caused a stir. Obia de nanoa tumu, Obia on the point of view. Will this really help? Lawmakers, immigration advocates, and a whole lot of people are beginning to talk about this. Representative Delia C. Ramirez, an Illinois Democrat, said on X that policy is beyond cruel and called for the dismantling of DHS piece by piece. So Obi so Ramirez or this is cruel. I say almost that US 4% more other countries it's more not just if you are not you are not a citizen of US, no, you have to leave. So New York government Kathy Hochul said on X, the new policy betrays the very promise that builds this country. This is from someone who is trying to say, so when there is betraying the very laws that builds the country. The administration has made efforts to significantly reduce asylum claims under the temporary protected status for several countries, which allowed those fleeing natural disasters, wars, or other dangerous conditions to live in the U.S. without fear of being deported, halted refugee admissions, experts from white South Africans, and restricted work and student visas. So, I mean, this policy, to them, it's going to help to prevent more US on asylum and all that. So it will bring all those things down. If you are not having that green card, you are not supposed to stay there. So it means that we won't have issues on asylum and all that. Following last year's shooting of 2 National Guard soldiers in Washington, D.C., the administration announced it was re-examining all green cards issued to people from 19 countries of concern. So to the U.S., I mean, they think it is a good way to go because it will help to curb down people living in their country illegally or without green cards and all that. So this is what is coming from the United States of America. The president of the country, Donald Trump, says there has been a policy reform. The new policy is that person apply for green card na oye permanent resident or US here. You have to go back to your country wherever you are coming from. You have to go there. You go through the process. You apply for it. When you are called for interview, you go and then you are interviewed. Then you go through the rightful process till you become a permanent residency of the United States of America. This new development has raised a whole lot of controversies. A number of people, not just from Ghana, but other countries are beginning to raise eyeballs. Say, is it more or less like you see, US for and I said Donald Trump immigrants ethnic country ni mu biom and I say it's more or less like some strategy be also use not just say USA no. It's more or less like and a whole lot. It has raised a whole lot of controversies and then talks here and there that I mean say we busiani bi ana wodofo bi ana unua bi wo US ya some radio e kamia say na so ya ye hia ne say o person apply for green card as at now only he or she has to return to Ghana. So the issue now is if they return to Ghana, some of the immigrants there are beginning to think to say, so returning to Ghana, how long would it take? So Obana say I'm friend with Bioma, won't this make it look like he or she is becoming a burden to the society or burden to his or her family and a whole lot? So that is the news coming from the United States of America, the US. Officially everybody say oh US now pay green card it's now permanent residency. You have to go to your country, then you apply for it. If you are called for interview, you go for interview, then you become or you are able to stay in US permanently to work and all that. And this is going to affect everyone, as whether you're a student or you're a citizen to a spouse or you're a tourist or whatever you are doing at USA. So for us, when you're a citizen of the United States of America, the open green card, go back to your country, apply, and then you hear from the embassy of the United States of America. So that is that. Yet was what consemple from one year called Thailand. Capital Bangkok. So you got Thailand some media as some KCSC or Pan say. There are just 6 Nigerian men. Nigerian men we omo ya ne say omo use AI aba people are beginning to use it for a whole lot of things. Omo de omo ya ne say romance scams no mo ye. They use AI na omo they are generating pictures, they are generating videos to make it look like they are women sometimes so that they can be able to get money from others. So they are defrauding people through the use of fake fake profiles. Profiles, the Omoyans use AI, they are generating pictures and videos so that they can be able to scam others. So that is that coming from Thailand. Some media, 6 Nigerians are Thailand police for Ensa Akomo. What they do is to defraud people or to scam people using AI to generate pictures and videos, just say, or text what you'll be thinking, say, or your ban who video no, so video it will be telling you that probably the person is in the United States or the person is at some top-notch place. Meanwhile, that's not where they are. So for AI and for the use for the good of them, for them, this is what they are using AI for, to scam people. So yeah, there is a post on this that is talking in relation to there is a video that is talking about this issue in relation to what these 6 Nigerian men are two kwan fi Nigeria so omu kwa koye ejuma or Thailand. Omo ye wo yen konkwohwema.
Hold it. Down. Get down. Hold it.เฮ้ยมึงอยู่นี่ได้ไงเนี่ยมึงงงมานี่อย่าสูงนะพี่เอานั่นแหละแค่ดูอีกอันนึงมีปัญหารับอยู่ยังตกทะเบียนมีโทรศัพท์อีกเครื่องนึงใช้เฟซฝรั่งนะครับเป็นแนวโรแมนต์เกมบอกว่ามันมาจากไหนโอเค
มีเช็ดไหมครับ
อายุเปิดเป็นถอนใส่ถอนยามือแล้วใส่เสื้อให้เรียบร้อย
That was Thailand. Thailand police and 6 Nigerian men. Yomu juma omo say omo use AI at the scamming crowd for omo use AI to generate fake profile pictures and videos with the aim omo ejuma omo say they are scamming people. So on your chat here, not just say you are thinking that or no ye bema no your ba fefe bi ana say or ye bema bia just say who trapa always but it's just a way of scamming people in Thailand. So that is coming from Thailand. Thailand police and 6 Nigerian men ejuma omo ya ne say omo de omo ti omo demu and almost scamming people through the use of AI, artificial intelligence. The omo AI ne ya ne say generate videos and pictures and scripts. I mean, on any chat here, AI no responded to the chat, and you no responding. So you'll be thinking it's quite genuine that no responded. So that is coming from Thailand. There's a post to this effect about what is actually happening in Thailand about these 6 Nigerians. Thailand police and SACOM was 6 Nigerians ran an AI deepfake romance scam from Northumbria, Riverside Condo. A cocaine bus led Thai police to them. The police raided a luxury condominium on the Chao Phraya River in Northumbria on May 22 and arrested 6 Nigerian men running a romance scam ring built on AI-generated faces and fake video calls. So the Thailand police na omunsaka 6 Nigerian men na omo yani say a romance scam, omo de scamming crofo, omo de defrauding crofo, and the two they are using is AI. So they use it to generate fake video calls, fake pictures, fake profile pictures and all that. Also the trial started with cocaine. In April, police arrested a Nigerian man named Patrick and 3 associates on trafficking charges and seized 2.5 million baht in assets. The money trial led to foreign nationals on student visas, leaving 5 or 6 to a unit on a high-end riverside condo near Pranaglo Bridge. None enrolled in school, none working. So, not Thailand police, why they were on the raid, it wasn't about these 6 Nigerians. It was about some cocaine dealers, cocaine traffickers, investigation. They were doing a research on them to locate them. Now, and these 6 Nigerian men, this is what they were doing. Also, police executed 3 warrants on 3 units, forcing entry after the suspects refused to open. One man tried to climb over balcony, another lay hiding on a bathroom floor, texting the other units to warn them. Officers seized 18 phones, 3 laptops, and 3 bank passbooks, and phones still open to active romance scams. Just say, and they were able to 18 phones 18 phones in the this romance scams, these videos, AI generated things they do. 3 and na phones after omunsa come we na ba ko pese odwane fa balcony ho ba ko nso akwa hye edware or texted the other say stay on guard and you know and all that. And Thailand police and also the group posed as pilots, US military officers, doctors and engineers, built relationships with older Thai women, then claimed a valuable package was tracked in customs requiring a transfer fee. Investigators recovered AI-generated Western faces used to produce fake video calls and sexy chats, scripts written to push older women toward transferring money. Police said a single well-crafted line could convince a victim to empty her account. So Nigerian men here for them, Omo target audience and almost scamming Thailand as omuni fi kakra enti neni fi kakra na chese or text or you say na what the fed the film kakra na usika kakra wono ono nso nsaka or say all 6 face initial charge of illegal association and immigration overstay, fraud and romance scam charges are pending. Remember 6 ya Thailand police and Sakom they are victims of fraud. So they've overstayed. They are not supposed to be in Thailand. They are supposed to go back to their countries. But won't call country. Scamming for with the aim of getting money from these Thailand women who pushing fake videos, fake videos and pictures and all that. When a US sponsor, same way when a US sponsor ede omwanu atumu say there is this group say we are taking down producer be expand ya ma make kakra. So same way mo and na US enso e de na no atumu say omo de omo ehu say Thai Chang scam centers here or Thailand, it is something that is omo ye ejuma pa enti omo so omo geji ehu say this is what is happening at Thailand ama omo so omo de omo anu atumu or say we are taking down insidious scam centers who prey on Americans. $10 million reward for information that disrupts the Thai Chang scam centers in Burma. Have a tip? Contact the FBI at Thai Chang tips at FBI.gov. So when the US and so and your manual to me say for them they've seen what is happening at Thailand. Ejuma Moyan is that they are US women and as they are targeting a number of people from America. So say information on these people, I mean, you should contact them, FBI. Handle at 200 if you have any information on this. Yes, answer put the Sika to so $10 million. Say information on this group this Thailand scammers ejuma omoyan is frauding women to get money from them, to get access to wealth from them and all that. So if you have information on them, they are not just you have to start contacting the FBI through US so that you can be able to give them information now. So that is happening at Thailand currently. In the same news, there has been a number of shared opinions on it as far as this issue on Thailand is concerned. Thailand police and 6 Nigerian men. Nigeria, Thailand, say they defraud people, they scam people, and their main target audience, women, Thailand, women, as who they can just take advantage of you now. Say, defraud you just to get money, and Thailand police and then just say yesha de wi omunsa komo ide na just say mrani ombedi no nyonyon pa. In the same story, there's a write up to this effect claiming of positioning the Thailand police in relation to these 6 Nigerian men omo ensa akomo. So producer the better screens so ama yashe in the same issues about these 6 Thailand these 6 Nigerians at Thailand police and they omonsa komo emra eni omubedin. So if you are now joining us there and Pinax TV updates ahora and sakano ena ya debremo not nyayeka previously 6 Nigerian men bia omago PM wa Thailand almost defrauding crop almost scamming almost scamming Thailand women sika and making life a bit uncomfortable for them and a Thailand police and sa akako moi just say emra any omu eba bedi nyenyen kra enya sem ketwa. There is a video to this effect. Sienko shemra.
Hold it. Down. Get down. Hold it.เฮ้ยมึงอยู่นี่ได้ไงเนี่ยมึงออกมานี่Đang đưa anh nhìn cái nào
Love you. You too?
Because of the
ใช้เป็นฝรั่ง เฟซฝรั่งนะครับเป็นแนวโรแมนต์เกม
238 no
บอกว่ามันมาจากไหนโอเคโอเค
มีเช็ดไหม
อายุเปิดที่มันพอใส่พอยามือแล้วใส่เสื้อให้เรียบร้อย
So currently there is this shake-up at time.
Hold it!
So that are scenes from Thailand. As some media, the Thailand police, Saka, 6 Nigerian men. Said they defraud people, they defraud women to get money from them using AI generated content and all that. So wrapping up on that story, we are moving up onto the next story that is currently we are moving straight to Senegal, the capital Dakar. Some media, there's a major political shake-up there. As I'm reading, the president of the country was dismissing the prime minister, Sonko Osmani, the president of the country, and Idindi Basiru Diomaye Faye. Some media were dismissing the prime minister, a friend of Sonko Usmani. Some media, it has caused a major political shake-up. It was Senegal. Some media, from the youth to people in the country. On your screen, it says that Senegal's president sacked the prime minister and former ally after months-long feud. So it was more or less like the president of the country and the prime minister. They were friends. They used to be friends even before the elections in 2024. No, now they had to go into a caucus to decide. Say the current president, no umbra. So it was more or less like they have that kind of relationship. As some media, the president of the Republic of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye, what dismissed the prime minister, Ousmane Sonko. This whole issue has raised tension in the country of Senegal. From the youth and to the citizens, to young people, to everyone in Senegal is beginning to, it was more or less like, Obiabuefu. How can you dismiss your prime minister? And I face what holds government proceedings from minister of states to secretaries. Everything is on hold just because you think you can do this. So Yebeko Senegal, how tensions the places and the disruptions and all that as the country of Senegal.
Joma yóbbu na ko pale xamul lii day may Ousmane Sonko doole joo xam ne jamonoy Macky Sall sax bi amu ko.
lii la ñu xaar parce que doon nañ ko bu yàgg ndax nit moom bu fekkee da nga tàmm war rek warkat ngay doon ñun nag ay góor lañ te Ousmane Sonko góor pire la tey ku ko dégg ni mu waxee assemblée nga xam ne góor pire moo doon wax.
scenes from the country of Senegal, Dakar, as some radio. Kamia said there is a major political shakeup. There is tension in the country. There is disruption in the country. And one may ask, what is the cause of this tension? The president of the country of the Republic of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye, and what dismissing the prime minister Nidindi Sonko Usmani as a haughty government, what dissolute government. There's a dissolution of government. He has also dissolved ministries and secretaries of state. It's more or less like everything is on hold because of a directive of the president. And the youth of the country say because the prime minister Sonko Usmani is more or less like he's a youth person. A lot of the youth love him for who he is because he's a champion of Pan-Africanism. He's a champion of youth-led initiatives and all that. So, and the youth of the country, they are going all in out. There is that commotion there. Say, so what the president is doing does not show democracy because the prime minister is not as on it doesn't mean says if somebody has diverse opinion about things now and try say over here want to say the president the is more or less like final. It's not an autocratic country, it's actually democratic. It's more or less like omunya ubiano have that freedom of speech and all that. So that is happening at Senegal currently as I'm ready. There is that tension in the country. So on your screen, you see Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has sacked Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko and dissolved the nation's government after months of tension between the two men. So Kamia said there was that friction between the Prime Minister and the President of Senegal. And to some radio, President said they're trying to he's dissolving everything. And also are dismissing the Prime Minister. A short decree read out on TV by a presidential aide said Faye had ended the duties of his one-time political ally, Sonko, and subsequently those of the ministers and secretaries of state who are members of the government. In the same radio, from ministers of state to secretaries of government, Bibia is on hold because of the directive from the president, Bassirou Diomaye, the president of Senegal. Sonko, a popular figure among Senegal's youth, said on social media that he would sleep with a light hat. And Sonko na ya dismissing no. On X, he's trying to tell us that on the day he's going to sleep with a light hat. The split comes as the country faces mounting economic pressure with its public debt having reached the equivalent of 132% of its GDP, according to International Monetary Fund. So it's telling us Senegal as a country, the IMF cap. And there's that financial instability in the country of Senegal. There is a percentage to show there that almost like equivalent to 132 of its gross domestic product. Sonko's dismissal followed a parliamentary session on Tuesday, during which the Prime Minister openly criticized Faye for his approach to the debt crisis. So the reason why the president of Senegal, what this Mr. Faye, Prime Minister, and he said there was deliberations on a commodity IMF or Parliament, and not Sonko no so trend I said this is what he thinks. Not all criticize if it's open criticism. Our president no the one cry he didn't agree to it in January. It was one of the causes of this major political shakeup currently at Senegal. Faye was in the unusual situation of owing his position in large part to Prime Minister's popularity. China said the president of the country named popularity it's connected to Prime Minister because he's more or less like a youth person and people so because of his ideologies and all that. So say, however, Sonko backed Faye's bid for presidency using the slogan Diomaye is Sonko, Sonko is Diomaye. So somewhere 2024 almost the current president for Senegal all contesting Sonko currently Prime Minister dismissing on your back president no and the slogan going to just say Diomaye is Sonko is Diomaye. Senebeye obe winning. He was thinking, say, his win is for all of them. I said the pair went on to unseat the then president Macky Sall, an extraordinary victory given they were both in prison until 10 days before the election. So collaboration between prime minister and the president no and then former president Macky Sall Omutimi on CT no winning elections. No, see, late on Tuesday night, several hundred students demonstrated on the streets of the capital city, Dakar, declaring their support for Sonko. No details have been provided on the appointment of new prime minister. So, Kamia is since Sonko, you are prime minister, you are dismissing. Or you're more or less like a youth person. The youth, the students of the country, they were on the streets to, make noise about it, to support Sonko. It means that they are trying to say that their president, they are not in support of what the president is doing. For them, they are for Sonko. Tensions between Sonko and Faye have been on display for months. Faye had repeatedly criticized Sonko excessive personalization within the ruling party, PASTEF, while Sonko accused the president of failure of leadership for not defending him against his critics. So they are all coming from diverse points of view. Faye said, I said, no Fanyama too personal. And as Sonko said, he is a failure as far as leadership is concerned. I said, amid this feud, Senegal's leaders have been grappling with the colossal amounts of debt they inherited from the previous government. The IMF has frozen its 1.8 billion euros lending program with Senegal as a result. And to where my IMF for a freeze lending program and ka enchekra omode ebema Senegal for. So the cause of this whole issue in Senegal is more or less like Sonko, our prime minister, and the president, Bassirou, that friction between them. And the whole youth of the country of Dakar, Senegal, so, Sonko is more or less like a youth person. So the youth, from students to the youth, young people are all on the streets. Some media, there's that major political shake-up in Senegal. They are all trying to make sure that Bibia Ebekoyi and the country will go back to its state of normalcy. So that is happening at the country of Senegal, Republic of Senegal, in Dakar. In Tiafi now joining here. Some media, there is a major political shake-up Senegal. The president of the country, your friend President Bassirou, what dismiss it Prime Minister Sonko Usmani Afi, so we're halting all government proceedings, from ministers of states, from ministries to everything. Everything is just on hold. Some media say was Senegal. They are not just there is that major political shake-up in the country of Senegal. Yet was so concerned from one, not just say some media there has been a research report from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. Our mocha say Kamia say in Ghana here. Omo research omo findings omo nsaka ye chere say 30% of Ghanaians are turning to betting to make ends meet. Chere say betting say it's more or less like meant for just men. According to omo reports, 30% of Ghanaians, they are just turning to betting. It is betting they do. It is betting they more or less hold on to as a means of income or as a side hustle. So that is coming from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. Our motorists said 30% of Ghanaians are turning to betting to make ends meet. In the reports, not just say most of these people are youth. They use betting as a second means of income, or betting is like a side hustle to them. So there is a publication from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness that will be shown on the screen very soon. So the publication from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor shows that there is 30% of Ghanaians who are turning to betting as a major means of income. So producer that post Ebeto Ho Ama Yehu said there is that research showing that 30% of Ghanaians are turning to betting as a major means of income in Ghana. Currently, just 30%, according to this researcher, Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. Research on Motreni said 30% of Ghanaians are turning to betting as a means of income. So that is the research coming from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. So there is a video to this effect. Iyanko Shemra.
Joma yóbbu na ko pale te xamu lii day may Ousmane Sonko doole joo xam ne jamonoy Macky Sall sax bi amu ko.
lii la ñu doon xaar parce que seen woon nañ ko bu yàgg ndax nit moom bu fekkee da nga tàmm war rek warkat ngay doon ñun nag ay gor lañ te Ousmane Sonko gor pire la tey ku ko dégg ni mu waxee assemblée nga xam ne gor pire moo doon wax.
Joma yóbbu na ko pale te xamu lii day may Ousmane Sonko doole joo xam ne jamonoy Macky Sall sax bi amu ko.
lii la ñu doon xaar parce que seen woon nañ ko bu yàgg ndax nit moom bu fekkee da nga tàmm war rek warkat ngay doon ñun nag ay gor lañ te Ousmane Sonko gor pire la tey ku ko dégg ni mu waxee assemblée nga xam ne gor pire moo doon wax.
For you to us, go straight to the camp of Bagbe. Now, for the past years, we realized that before the National Democratic Congress, they will come to power. And they've been floating this idea of the whole anti-LGBT bill. Mind you, people like Xavier Sosu, a person like Sam George, they were the people who were saying that when NDC comes to power, they will make sure that this whole anti-LGBT bill will be passed. Now, it even went to the extent that the day before the elections, Sam George went to church, he granted the interview, and he told Ghanaians, said, woe besides, and I will besides, the President John Dramani Mahama, if NDC wins and he doesn't perhaps assent to this bill, what will happen is that the NDC government will suffer or God will punish them. Now, fast track, all of these people are in power. The last time he put Sam George about this particular bill, he was like, last 4 years, MPP refused to pass it, so clearly, now he's in power, he's singing a different tune. But Kamiako says someone like Agbang Bagwin, who is the Speaker of Parliament, so he holds a different tune to this. Now, according to him, he's saying, it is very mandatory. It is more like a PAM, and I don't know how to put it, more like a PAMA, or Muni Yankopon Akose, Yankopon Mo Muvinia, they will pass the anti-LGBT bill. And we've already seen some back and forth because now His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Okopiemu, Lincoln University, and other university in the US, they pulled back some award. Now, the man is citing, say, Mahama is supporting to ascend the anti-LGBT bill, which Mahama said that we need to actually take a look at this because already, it has started drawing back some criticisms from the international communities. Now, today, Meno Kasi Agbang Babin is here and is talking and saying that this bill will automatically pass. Now, Parliament, few days resume, and as you can see on the screen, so they are giving us a blow-by-blow account as to why this particular bill will pass, and this time, Agbang Bagwin Ababe Kasa. So let's put this on the screens to give you a fair view of what they are talking about and also what Agbang Bagben is talking about, and even how this perhaps can impact the NDC party moving forward. So as you can see, I say anti-LGBT bill must be passed before adjournment. This is coming from Speaker Agbang Bagben. Now, he made mention even when Parliament resumed that this is a bill which needs to be passed because we are here then 2028. Ghanaians is going to judge the NDC on the ability to pass this bill or not. Now, there's a video to that effect. Babaka will be diving more into the details as to what Agbang Bagben said. But the young question exactly what Speaker Agbang Bagben or the Tuja concerning this particular anti-LGBT bill. To him, what he's saying is that it must be passed at all costs. In question video, Babaka, we continue.
The Council of State has also submitted its advice to the House through me. I will process it for presentation to the House for reference to the appropriate committee for speedy consideration and report to the House. This is such a crucial bill that needs to be processed transparently to tap the collective wisdom of all stakeholders to ensure ownership and ease of implementation. We did not complete this bill in the 8th Parliament, and as the 8th Parliament expired, it expired with all its business. And so these have to be reintroduced. And this is a private member's bill. So it has to go through the whole process, right up from the sponsors up to date. And the Constitution says we have to refer it to the Council of State. The earlier Council of State rendered its advice. This Council of State has also rendered its advice. And I have to bring that to the notice of the committee so that through the deliberation of the committee, we can do justice to the bill. I'll be compelled to give an opinion, which will also be referred to the committee, because this is a bipartisan bill, and all government policies, both the previous and the current government, are very supportive of the proposal. And so, honorable members, you have the support of both sides of the House, and I'll call on the committee, when it's referred to them, to expedite action in this matter. The second one is the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025. You are aware the bill also went through the same process in the 8th Parliament. It has again to be reintroduced to go through the same process. And so it's taking time because we have to abide by the law. We also have the Property Rights of Spouses Bill 2025. And this bill has come before this House many times. Rather, from the time I was even chairman of the Committee of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. But the challenges are real. And we have, in spite of the challenges, find solutions to those problems. We have before us, since 2022, the Parliamentary Transition Bill, which is now 2020 for Parliament, particularly in transitioning from one Parliament to the other. We passed law for the executive transition, but left that of Parliament. And you know the challenges we face when we are having a transition, especially in 2021, when you had to go to almost a stalemate and fisticuffs in trying to get me elected as the Speaker of this House. We don't want to experience these kind of bad precedents again. We have also the Parliament Bill 2025. There are a lot of important ingredients in that bill that will assist us to regulate particularly the conduct and behavior.
All right, so that was a Speaker of Parliament, Abang Bagben in Senegal. Now, one of the things we want you to note in this is that a whole lot of things did also pop up. Speaker Abang Bagben, he's saying, from the look of things, and as I said in Senegal, contrary to what some people may think, to say the Parliament is going to make sure that Ombe passes this particular bill. Now, let's put this on the screens because we want to take some few excerpts of what he said now, explaining. Also, Speaker of Parliament, Abang Bagben has directed a committee handling the Human Rights, Sexual and Family Bills 2025 to present its report for consideration and passage before the current meeting of Parliament come to an end. This year, our director said one more handle that a particular bill. No, basically, your framing is a human rights, sexual rights, and a human sexual rights and family values bill. No, basically, it's an anti-LGBT bill. No, also more formal consideration. Now, also addressing the House when Parliament resumed sitting on Thursday, May 21st. That was basically like 2 days ago. Mr. Bagben said the bill remains a matter of significant public interest and stressed the need to advance the legislative process. So now he's saying, based on all that aforementioned, the bill is something that it was in the NDC's manifesto. Ghanaians are expecting action. Christian Council, they're expecting some action from the President John Dramani, not just Christian Council, but also the Muslim fraternity. Now, it was also in view of the significance of the bill and the need to advance the legislative process, I urge the committee to present its report for consideration and passage by the House before the end of his meeting. Very important, he stated. So now he's pushing. So this bill, all the considerations and all the things, amendments in it, it needs to come before him and pass the bill. Let's get it over once and for all. Now, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, popularly known as the Anti-LGBTQI Plus Bill, has been one of the most debated pieces of legislation in recent years, drawing strong support from religious groups and traditional authorities, while also attracting criticism from human rights advocates and some international organizations. So now, as I was saying, this is something which has garnered so much support from both the traditional people, anti-LGBT bill trumu emba omo ne emba da mo fefe o mase embema o si o ono embema one ni nyonko bema beda, and we are seeing it on social media and e fro be educator. In fact omo ye program ewo social media na omo ye bibia na ye fa highlights on TikTok. These guys dress up as women, they come to the event, and the way the public receive them and the reception is wonderful. I say, okay, Oma be part of it. I say, about be new normal. In fact, if you even want to trend, just dress like, oh yeah, Bema, dress like a female, act like a female, put camera on you, and go on TikTok. The next thing, you are famous. That is exactly what we are talking about. Now, Mr. Bagman acknowledged growing public concern over delays in the passage of the bill and said Parliament is fully aware of the expectations of Ghanaians. Now, as I said, there's been many drawbacks in as much as religious bodies across the aisle. They believe that this bill ultimately is a good thing, needs to be passed immediately. There are some scores of people who are human rights activists that they are saying that this bill basically, it is something which is not really good. Now, yeah, also because it's very much important for you to know exactly what is really going on. Now, as I was saying, also Parliament has also taken concerns recently after concerns recently expressed by sections of the public and various stakeholders regarding the delay of the passage of the bill, he said, "We appreciate the keen interest in this important legislation and acknowledge the expectations of citizenry of the matter. According to the Speaker, the committee responsible for the bill has already completed its stakeholder consultations and public hearings, paving the next stage of the legislative process. As stakeholders may be aware, the committee responsible for the bill has concluded its public hearing and stakeholder engagement," he added. His latest remarks reinforced earlier assurances that the current Parliament remains committed passing the bill after previous version failed to become a law following the refusal of former President Akufo-Addo to assent it before the dissolution of last Parliament. So now, the ball basically is in the court of the NDC. Once Akufo-Addo failed to pass it before the previous government, it's now onto John Dramani Mahama, the Speaker of Parliament, in this particular session to uphold it. Now, it is no news when this bill is passed, there will be some drawbacks or there will be some blowbacks from the international community. But then, in someone's view, this is the best time to sign this bill. Why? Because the greatest country on earth, the most powerful president on earth, I'm talking about US president and also the United States itself, they are against it because only Republicans, and they themselves don't like this. They are doing everything to stop these kind of in their words nonsense. You see, I know US, I say, in bar sports, Bema beats Marco Akum to a Bema now, so your bar, you can go and participate in women's sports and you beat all their records. All these things Trump have basically cancelled it. Now Trump is telling the Congress, which Ghana Parliament say they are against forcing or putting this whole anti-LGBT in the throats of people. Do it, but don't spoil or bring it to my house. Don't try to educate our children. Don't try to indoctrinate our church. Don't try to paint a picture, say, soon Christo. Those of us are conservatives, our beliefs are basically wayward. If you want to do your thing, do your thing. But also, you need to respect the rules and regulations. Our beliefs say, to us, we don't hate you, but we don't want to indulge in this. And that is exactly what is really going on. Alban Bagman is saying, so based on all of this aforementioned, it is very prudent that Parliament passes it. Now, let's take a listen to what Speaker Alban Bagman Okan Babaka. We will continue with this particular update again.
Of members, trying to instill ethics and rule of decent behavior when you are elected into public office. That is not all. Your attention has been drawn by the majority leader to numerous bills that are to be presented to the House. I won't go through them again because they are already on record. What I can do now is to urge all committees and honorable members to approach these matters with diligence, seriousness, and a spirit of cooperation. But let me single out this bill because of the reaction of the public to it. I'm talking about the Property Rights of Spouses Bill. Its passage is important for promoting fairness and protecting family stability. However, because of its sensitivity, we have given exceptional attention to it to deepen consultations with all stakeholders to ensure inclusiveness, consensus building, and a smooth path to implementation. You know the cleavages. The Muslim community are very clear in their minds that the Holy Quran has spelled out in details as to these matters of spousal rights, property rights of spouses. Please, the word spouse comes from the Latin word sponsus, which means betrothed. And so when we have law that gives opportunity to different groups to marry differently, and so you have the Mohammedan Marriage Act, and you also have that of the Christians, and you also have that of the traditional people. And now trying to talk about spousal property rights of spouses, you definitely meet challenges. It is not the failure of the Parliament of Ghana. It is a challenge for the country. And we have to meet each other halfway. So, blame should not be placed on Parliament of Ghana because we don't decree laws. We pass laws that are acceptable by our people. And so please, the activists, take these things into consideration in trying to lay blame on Parliament of Ghana. We are equally very concerned about the lack of clarity of these matters. And the recent pronouncement of the courts is what has caused the concerns raised by the public. So please, I want to assure Ghanaians that Parliament remains committed to seeing this bill through in a manner that is just, pragmatic, and consensual. Parliament has also taken note of the...
Yet also concern for mana straight into the camp or things around Burton. As I speak to you now, there has been a research, and as there has been a review from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. Research no outcome almost nearly 30% of Ghanaians are turning to Burton to make ends meet. So according to this research, almost 30% of Ghanaians make ends meet through betting, through gambling. As a betting, Kamia say you give something to gain something. Say a young person on his phone, and in nearby the ding as na saying Manchester saying and not just it's in relation to betting. So according to this research, almost say as at now as Ghanaians or as a country, it's about 30% of people are turning to betting as a means of income in order to make ends meet. So see on your screens, also nearly 30% of working Ghanaians are increasingly turning to gambling and betting as a coping mechanism to recover or to cover daily expenses and debt obligations, despite signs of improving income levels and easing financial pressure in the economy. Not just 30% of Ghanaians are omuye ejuma as they claim said their income levels is rising, but they are still turning to betting as a means of income. Or say this is according to the latest Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor, which paints a mixed picture of cautious recovery and lingering financial vulnerability among working Ghanaians. So it means that working Ghanaians or people in the working class is more or less like they are vulnerable. I say, bibi nko ye kakra anase musika sem enko senior mope. So they are, turning to betting as a means of income or as a side hustle. Also, the report reveals that although 35% of respondents say they are earning more than they did in a year ago, and our channel is 37% of Ghanaians stress as a last year, sika omojeno as a improvement kakra bemudie. Now, so an improvement from 22% in 2023. Merely households remain financially exposed. Or China just say as at 2023 there, 22% of people keep saying that things are beginning to change. So according to the study, 39% of Ghanaians remain worried about losing their income, while more than half, 53%, risk running out of funds in less than 3 months should they lose their jobs or income streams. So it's more or less like people are beginning to think, am I losing my income stream? Or are things beginning to, it's more or less like they are turning to betting because they think that betting is going to be a major means of income. As I know that obviously there will be that stability of income. And then I'm betting one Ghana, then I'll get something from it. And over time, I'll definitely begin to economic conditions and consumer confidence are improving. Many households still lack adequate financial buffers to withstand economic shocks. Yes, it's more or less like, according to this researchers say, yes, in as a near but still there's that pressure on household, there's that pressure in the house, or there's that pressure among families, and they are not stable as far as financial resources are concerned. Also, to reduce the risks associated with income instability, more Ghanaians are now diversifying their income sources through side jobs and freelance work. So it's more or less like, it's not just the youth. As a Ghanaian, Ghanaian is turning to look for side hustle and a freelance worker obetimia any on the side to support the main means of income. Inti say or a journalist and as or ye juma wo ministry bia or looking forward and as or ye bibi one chain either so ton ade and as or side hustle bia or engaging into just to raise money or to get money so that there will be that stability for him or her. Also, the report notes that 27% of working Ghanaians are now polyjobbers, people earning additional income beyond their primary jobs, up from 21% in 2024. So, polyjobbers, it means they are not just relying on one means of income. A number of Ghanaians are now looking forward and they are gearing towards, or they are already doing some sort of extra hustle just to raise resources so that there will be that stability with them financially. They claim, say, yes, as a Sika and Omoji somewhere last year, it's not the same. Yet still, the economy is not as they want or as they were thinking it's going to be. So what's the next step? They have to look for a side hustle so that they can stay afloat. So young people are leading this trend, with 32% of Ghanaians aged between 20 to 29 reporting additional income streams largely driven by limited job opportunities and rising financial obligations. It's this part of this research actually to say young people between the ages of 20 to 29. They own 32% of the research. Say these people tend to side hustle to be able to raise resources and to raise money so they can be comfortable financially. So that is coming from the Old Mutual Financial Monitor. Also, to reduce the risks associated with income instability, more Ghanaians are now diversifying income sources through side jobs and freelance work. So a number of Ghanaians are beginning to move to side hustles as a way of earning income. There is a particular video to to this effect. So as I was saying, na make about a research by the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. 30% of Ghanaians are turning to betting as a means of income or as a way of raising resources. And according to our research, now a number of youth, that's 32% of youth, ranging from the ages of 20 to 29. They are not just doing one hustle. They are not relying on one means of income. They are doing side hustles. They are doing other things as a way of raising income. So that is the findings or research coming from the Old Mutual Financial Wellness Monitor. Yeah, it was well concerned from what some radio. It's a good news to Ghana as a country. Ghana as a country was able to join the RoboFest that featured 19 countries like China, Taiwan, Canada, Mexico, South Africa, Korea, and all. So RoboFest, it's a competition. It's about enhancing STEAM education, science, technology, engineering, arts, and then all that. So that is what STEAM is about. So this RoboFest here, Ghana was able to go into it, and then we were able to come out successful with the junior division. Junior division, already 14. Already 10 to 14. So Ghana Foko PMO Michigan University, and I just say, and it just same and they said we were able to, claim championship among 26 countries core competition. There's a video that showcases how the whole thing went. 1,
go.
One minute.